Well, it's not as good as Clone Wars, but you know what? Just play the intro. Hello, everyone, and today I'm taking a look at Star Wars Rebels. Star Wars Rebels was a 2014 show that was made on Disney XD and is basically telling us what happened after the events of Revenge of the Sith and before Rogue One and the original trilogy. The show is about this group known as the Ghost Crew, who at first are basically like this Robin Hood type group. They steal from the Empire and give to the poor, until later on they're a part of this larger group of rebels who want to stand up against the Empire, and because of this leads into the Republic, who leads into the Rebellion in the original trilogy. And yeah, now let's talk about the main members of the Ghost Crew, starting with Hera. Hera is basically the pilot of the group, who is basically also like the mother of the group. There's Kanan, who was a Jedi Padawan, who survived Order 66 and is all like, I gotta be on the run, I gotta help out these people. Then there's Zeb, who's basically the comic relief for the group. There's Sabine, a Mandalorian who's a good demolitionist and also good at painting. And of course, there's Ezra, the main character of the show, who is basically like he wants to find his purpose in all of this. He wants to figure out what is going on. He wants to help these people since the Empire took away his parents. And yeah, Ezra is basically a Padawan in the show. And of course, there's Chopper, who's basically like R2D2 and BB-8, since he's the droid comic relief, but he's still entertaining to watch. I really like the whole dynamic of the Ghost Crew. They feel like the Guardians of the Galaxy in a way, where they have like this family dynamic where they're always butting heads. In fact, Kanan and Hera feel like the parents of the group, which makes even more sense because they're actually a couple in the show. And there's Ezra and Zeb, who are basically like those two brothers that like to fight with each other and like to mess around and stuff. And there's Chopper, who's basically like that pet you have, and Sabine's basically that older sister's like, whatever. And yeah, I really like the dynamic they all had, especially between Kanan and Ezra. I really like their whole bonding, trying basically like Kanan's all like, I can't train Ezra. I'm not good enough to be a Jedi Knight. And you really like Kanan's feel in the show. You really feel bad for Kanan, seeing how he saw his own master get murdered by the clones. And of course, there are some of the villains in this show, but I'm only going to talk about the three villains that they really introduce. There's the Inquisitor, who actually is the Grand Inquisitor. I really liked the Grand Inquisitor. He was really cool in my opinion. His voice was really cool, and I really liked his battles with Kanan. There's Agent Kallus, who has this arc across the show where he slowly decides to be like, I'm done being with the Empire. I want to help out these people since they're actually doing good. And of course, Admiral Thrawn, who was from the books, and then was all like, and Disney was like, okay, we'll have him in the show because he's a fan favorite. And yeah, Thrawn is really good in this show. He's a really good tacticianist, and he is just very intimidating in the show. And also, like I said, this show is supposed to be a continuation of Star Wars: The Clone Wars, so they of course do bring back some characters from there, like Captain Rex, Ahsoka, and of course Darth Maul. I really liked seeing them back in the show. I really like the whole thing with Kanan and Rex, since at first Kanan's all like clones, and he has like this PTSD from what happened because he saw his own master get slaughtered by the clone troopers. And there's a really cool moment where Rex is all like, I didn't follow Order 66. I had my chip removed. I had a choice in the matter, Kanan. And you really see them growing as a group. Sorry about that editor, guys, but still, I really like seeing Captain Rex back in the show. I also really like seeing Ahsoka back. She was awesome in the show, in my opinion. Like, there's this one part where she comes out of nowhere and wrecks these two new Inquisitors in Season 2. And there's also a really good story arc with her in the show where, during, like, the first two-parter of Season 2, she has this connection with Vader, and she's all like, is Vader Anakin? And there's a lot of build up to it in the season finale. Like throughout Season 2, there'll be moments where she's like, this was Anakin Skywalker, my master. He was such a good person, such a good friend to everyone. And also, there was like this part where she had a vision where Anakin was all like, "Do you know what I've become?" And she is just in pain. And all comes together in the season 2 finale where she and Vader fight off, and when she slashes Vader's helmet, it shows a part of his eye, and the eye says no, and Vader says Ahsoka, and she then realizes Anakin, and they fight, and you are just my heart stopped at that moment. It was just so well done. There was one problem with it, that being Ezra saying Ahsoka. I'm sorry. I like you, Ezra, but it just kind of took me out of the mood. Okay, but seriously, that moment was perfection. And of course, there's Darth Maul, and while he wasn't as good as he was in the Clone Wars, there was still some pretty good moments with him. Like, there's one part in the season 2 finale where he blinds Kanan by accident, and throughout season 3, he's trying to find Obi-Wan to end this rivalry with him, especially in the Twin Sons episode where he and him have their final confrontation. I really like how it's like a Western gunfight rather than a lightsaber duel, because at the start of the fight, when they're like doing little stances, Obi-Wan goes from his Ewan McGregor Clone Wars pose to the Alec Guinness pose from the original trilogy, and then he goes to the Qui-Gon's pose from Phantom Menace, and it's quick but satisfying, and I really like the part where Darth Maul is all like, "The boy you are protecting will avenge us." And man, Maul was just so awesome in the show. And there's actually a lot of other moments I really like how in season 1 finale, when the Inquisitor fights both Kanan and Ezra, it feels sort of like the duel between Darth Maul, between Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan in Phantom Menace. They're even fighting on a similar looking platform. And there's a part where the Inquisitor throws his blade at Ezra, and it slashes his cheeks. And that stays permanent throughout the entire show. He keeps those scars as like a reminder of what's happened, and yeah, that was really cool in my opinion. And I also do like Ezra's lightsaber at first, how it's sort of like a lightsaber plus a blaster, until until Vader destroys it in season 2, and he's just stuck to a green lightsaber. It's not even anything special. It's just sort of like a regular old green lightsaber, nothing special to it, which kind of took away from that lightsaber that Ezra had in the first season, but still. The animation is pretty good, though I do feel like the Clone Wars had better animation. And also, not a fan of the thin lightsabers. They look too skinny. They look like chopsticks. You can just break it in just like one snap. But still, a lot of the battles are pretty cool in my opinion, especially like some of the lightsaber fights, and of course the spaceship battles. And there are some characters that they show from the movies, like Saw Gerrera, who they show his lasting effects from the Clone Wars show, which I thought was pretty cool in my opinion, and Honda from the Clone Wars, which I thought he was funny in the show. And yeah, though this show does have some problems, like some of the pacing is not very good in some episodes, and some episodes aren't very good in my opinion. And yeah, but still. Okay, sorry about that edit there, guys, but still, when the show does its emotional moments, they are really well done in my opinion, especially with Kanan's sacrifice around the tail end of season 4. I thought that was a really good moment in my opinion, where Kanan's eyesight comes back just one last time to see Hera, and it's just a good moment in my opinion, especially when Zeb's all like, "Where's Kanan? Where's Kanan?" And you just feel so bad for the guys. But this show does have one big problem, in my opinion, with its finale. You don't want to know how they defeat Grand Admiral Thrawn? Well, I think Patrick can describe it best. "We should take Bikini Bottom and push it somewhere else." Like, seriously, that's how they're going to defeat Grand Admiral Thrawn. I'm sorry, I just can't help but laugh at that. I'm sorry. I know Thrawn is a big bad guy and all, but seriously, Patrick's plan actually worked. Oh man. Also the fact that the show really gets sort of like this Clone Wars vibe, where like the first 2 seasons are just good, but when it picks up around the tail end of season 2, then the show gets really great in my opinion. And yeah, overall, is this a good follow-up to the Clone Wars TV show? In some aspects, yes. Like there's an episode where like there's this remaining droid group that's all like, "We should have one last battle between you, Captain Rex, and Ezra and Kanan to see who truly won the Clone Wars." And there's a really good part where Ezra says, The Empire won the battle. Emperor Palpatine pulled both strings, and you guys both lost. The Empire really won. And whenever it focuses on a lot of the characters from the Clone Wars, it's really well done and spectacular. But the show, when it tries to do other certain things, like try to like go down, like being like this goofy kids show, it doesn't work in my opinion. And yeah, overall, Rebels is a pretty good show in my opinion. It's not fantastic. It's not like the Clone Wars or Clone Wars 2003. Heck, even though Mandalorian's not even finished, I'm pretty sure that show will be better than this. But as it stands, this is the weakest of the 3 anime TV shows of Star Wars that I've seen. I have not seen Resistance yet, but still. Overall, I'm giving Star Wars Rebels a 7 or an 8 out of 10. It's pretty good. Not spectacular, but just pretty good in my opinion. So what do you think of Rebels? Post your comments down below, and as always, see you all later. And next time we meet, we'll be taking a look at how all of this war and destruction started with Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. See you all later, and bye.